UFC Fight Night in Sacramento. Was it a Fight Night in Sacramento or was it just
Fight Night?
Sacramento? It was Fight Night?
Fight Night in Sacramento. Yeah,
it was
Fight Night.
We just call it Sacktown, baby.
Sack,
That's where I'm
baby.
from the Bay, baby. We just call it Sacktown. Love that. What happened to your light?
What light?
Did you turn your light off?
No. I made my screen.
Your face.
I made my screen bigger. Is that better? Because there's white behind it now. Because now you're smaller. I wanted to see your big smiling face, and so I just clicked it, and so you didn't like that. So I'm
little long limb. They're like jowl.
Don't say I have jowls. I have wrinkles.
Yes, that's what I'm getting though. Look, they used to be dimples, like little holes.
Oh yeah, dude. Now they're just long lines.
Yeah, this is bullshit.
That's age. Age sucks.
I'm gonna go get a face thing.
Face thing.
What are they called? Facelift. Yeah, I'm gonna go get
one. You get a facelift, I swear to God, I'm never talking to you again.
You'll still be my friend. You will. You know you will. You own the band.
It's like this thing right here, right? I have, everyone can have their idea of, what kind of asshole I am, but I am a practical joker, and I am, I have fun with my friends and stuff. And so I've always, just ragged. And I've had a couple, friends that have, dyed their hair, dyed their beard or stuff. And it's like, oh, please don't give me that kind of ammunition. And that's now funny. I'm sitting here with this great thing in my, and there's people going, why don't you dye it? I go, can't do it.
You can't. You're in too deep. You're in too deep. You can't talk shit about everybody else
about
dyeing their beard and their hair.
Yeah, it ends up biting you in the ass. Oh well, no.
By the way, I saw a little video you did where you were doing the boxing matches last week.
Yeah, Teofilopoulos, yeah.
Yeah. What's funny, John, is it was very rare for me to see you outside of a black shirt.
Yeah, got the bow tie on, baby.
The bow tie, baby. You're looking zesty, baby.
See, and I really, it's funny because everyone rags me for it. That's awesome. It's great. And I really don't have a problem with the bow tie. I have a problem with the blue shirt because every time I wear that goddamn thing, blood gets all over it. I said, that's why I fucking wear black. That's why black was put into MMA. True. You don't see it. This is the dumbest thing ever to wear a baby blue, light blue shirt. We got a lot of love for you today, my man. We got a lot of love for you today. Look, we got here. Dangerous Mouse is right here. He goes, hey, it's always good when Big John is here. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Dangerous.
Man. Let's get it on.
Danger Mouse.
Craig Farmon 4527 McCarthy Mondays, baby. That's right. Look at them. We got JJ McCarthy Mondays. We got everyone, man. Got a lot of love for today. A lot of love. So welcome back, buddy. Welcome back, buddy. We did it last week too, guys. Calm down. Guys, calm down. Here we have a little question here. Not a super chat, but Frato one. It's been a little overboard these days. I'm gonna give him a little love. Okay. It says, Big John, what do you think about the slam from Elijah Smith versus Toshio Kasama a while ago that was overturned because of the headbutt that connected?
Yeah, it's funny because it was very similar if you're looking at it to the Quentin Rampage Jackson against Ricardo Arona. Whenever you have a slam like that, it's that, especially with the fighter that's being slammed, their head is bouncing off of the canvas. It's bad. And it's coming up as the other fighter's coming down into him. And you always have that contact. You have to look and be honest about it's incidental to the actual slamming. It's something that happened. Is it what ended up causing the fighter to not be able to continue on, or was it the slam that caused the fighter? And you've got to be honest and look at those things and stuff. So it's a matter of what was it that actually created the problem for the fighter? Was it that their heads clashed? Because if it is, then depending upon where you are in the fight, it can be a no contest. It can go to a technical decision. But if it's not and he's out based upon the slam, then it's incidental to it.
Yeah, we got our man out here doing the Lord's work. He normally helping us out. What up, fellas? Lazy Bet MMA. It's always a pleasure having you, man. He's one of our consistent guys.
God bless him.
Yeah, he's awesome. He actually posts the link for the drink element. He did your command class. He posts your link for command class. He does all of it. John, I did a video.
Thank you very much, Lazy Bet.
I did a video on Sunday with Angelo. And I was just telling about my epic fail in your command class. I just fucking missed. I missed the stop. I missed the fence grabs. I missed it all, John.
Just want you to remember all the times you go, why didn't they do something? It's so easy. And when you think about it, the fighters in there that you're going, they're actually slow. They're not going full speed as far as like a real fight. It's slow.
But don't you feel like they cheat? The fighters that were there, they were trying to cheat a little bit more than normal fighters.
Well, they're told,
yes,
hey, I want you to give me one thing here, and then I want you to give me this. Then from that point, I don't want you to give me any more fouls. And they kind of get excited and start fucking going in their own pace and stuff. And the one guy who was there, who was an older guy, he was just having fun. He thought it was the greatest thing ever, being able to be a dickhead, And so there was a couple of times that I had to tell him, hey, you got to slow it down, dude.
Yeah.
He was trying to have too much fun.
He was great though.
Great. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Are you talking about the same guy I'm talking about, right? He was just very energetic, thicker guy, good wrestler. But he was fun, man. He was he was a great kid. I can say kid. But he was great.
41.
Oh yeah. He looked like it. He looked like it. Good guy though. Very good guy.
He was a great guy.
To catch up with him a little bit afterwards. Yeah. Look, Dave Sandine's got a question very similar to not very similar, the exact same question I had for Ron McCarthy, your son. You saw the main event. As we were scoring, as I'm watching the fights and I'm kind of in my head doing the score, I wanted to know, did you think the second round was a 10-8 round? You got
I had it at 10-8.
I had it at 10-8 too, until
that last 10 seconds when Fluffy hits Rodrigues, and he hits him about 5 times, and he hurt Greg. As far as you can see, Greg, it's not that he was, Greg was close to being put out, but it stung him.
He was hurt.
Yeah. And that changed it from a 10-8 on my card, because it's right at that cusp that I'm giving it to him, and then he took it back just enough. And we'll always say, look, if you're right on the cusp of it, then it's 10-9. And I had it. I did have it. I thought the leg kicks were fantastic. He gave him a lot of problems with that whole round. And you look and you go, the whole thing, God damn, give it to Anthony Hernandez. Mm-hmm. I mean, he put it, this is very similar. I'm going to, I hate to bring it up, but it's similar to your round 2 with Tony Ferguson. Nothing went your way. Everything that you tried, everything that he did worked, everything you did didn't. And that was what was happening with, Hernandez in there. But man, he hung tough just like you did. And fucking, sometimes, it's always easy to be the hammer. To be the nail is a motherfucker.
Yeah.
And it happens to everyone somewhere along the way. In that round 2 for Anthony Hernandez, God damn, I give him credit for hanging tough in there, because that at the end of that, he was like, Jesus Christ, man, what the fuck?
John, what's funny is when you saw the two of them in the cage together face to face, he looked like he was a whole weight class smaller.
He did.
But John, he was only 2 pounds lighter than RoboCop when they fought the day of, which is wild to me. I mean, look, there's a lot of things going around right now. I had it 10-8 as well, but I wasn't sure if it would be enough to take it back to a 10-9. But he did rock him. He did have him hurt.
And that's the difference. And
I just wasn't sure if being dropped 3 times with leg kicks justified just rocking him one time.
Well, you got to figure the leg kicks themselves. A leg kick is not someone being damaged in the fashion of their brain is being altered. Mm-hmm. It's damaging, and it's affecting his ability to fight in the way that he wants to. And it's really more, a lot of times it's more of a nerve issue with your leg. Is the nerve is now firing, so the muscle is not responding to what you're trying to get it to do, and so you're falling. A couple of those were off balance, a couple of them were hard, and the perennial nerve was absolutely being affected. He kept on trying to go to southpaw. You go, you can see how uncomfortable he was with that, and I'm like, oh, this is a son of a bitch. But God bless him for getting out of that round and making it to the 5th and all the way, because that was a hard fight. But it was actually a close fight. People give it this, when I say close, I had it 4-1 as far as the rounds themselves. But the first round was a lot closer than people are saying.
It was.
And the fifth round was actually closer than people were saying. It was a good fight, and the whole thing is, did the right person win? Yes. That's what you're looking for. That's, this whole thing about oh my God, the judges, they got to get the exact same score I do. No, they don't. And they're seeing a different fight than you are. You need to understand that. It's hard to get people to understand, man, when you're sitting in one spot, sometimes you got the best view and sometimes it's a shitty view. I'm just telling you, and you got to give them, they all gave it to Greg Rodrigues. That was the way it should be. And that's what you're looking for. My whole thing is, did the right person get the victory? And he did.
Yeah. What was your take? Okay, get past the 10-8 round for Fluffy. It was a 10-9 because he rocked him at the very end.
Yeah.
And was able to really hurt him. I would agree with that. I just wanted to get your son's opinion on that, because he was.
I had it at 10-8. I did. Yeah. I was sitting because I had crossed that line, with the way I do things. I had crossed that line. I was into the 10-8, and all of a sudden, and I was like, okay, it's gonna be a 10-8 round. And then I see my son of a bitch. He just took it back. So,
did you see Chris Padillas fight against Hacked Brass?
Oh yes,
he gets the submission, the side choke standing, and then
that's 14:59.
Yeah, 14.
That's what they put. It was more like 15.
If you were a ref, how are you? I mean, obviously he couldn't get up, but this is very much how the Nakuda fight went with, I think, Herb Dean at MVP.
A little bit different.
It is different because he held on to it after the
Moraes held on Nakuda. Yes. And in this one,
he was out right when kind of right before the bell went.
And that's the whole, there's not many times when you're a referee that you can sit there and say, I'm going to let something go beyond. And when I say beyond, it's instead of making that determination, I see he's out, I'm stopping it. When you know that you're right at the end of the round, because you get the 10 seconds, that 10-second, clapper going, and then you're counting back, and you're counting those seconds. So you know exactly where you're at within a half a second. And so in that type of situation with a submission put on, we'll tell, the referee, hey, let it play out. Let it go to that end of the round. And if he's conscious, we go to the cards. If he's unconscious, the fight is over. That's exactly what Frank Trigg did, and that was the right call to make. Yeah, I thought Frank did a great job. He did. He did a really good job. And this is the whole thing. You want to remain, in these situations, you being calm and understanding this is exactly what I'm doing and just waiting for that time to, fill out. And that's exactly what he did. He looks at him, he's out, boom, boom. Yeah, fight's over. You lose. You just were submitted, and it's the perfect way to have in that situation, not have the mistake of stopping something and then having the guy like, I'm fine, and all those things. If you're fine, then at the end, as soon as that bell goes or that horn goes, do that. I'm fine. Perfect. We're going to the scorecards. When you're not doing that and you're laying there and you're, it's time to say the fight has been finished. Eyes were still open. He was out. Yeah, he's out. He was out. RDR versus Roman Dolidze. Did you expect that fight to go the way it did? Yes, I did. And the reason why is, first off, I think I've always thought that RDR was fighting in a weight class that was killing him. Yeah, he's too big of a body. When you stand next to him, you go, dude, you're a big frame. He's got a big frame. He's got that big barrel. Chest, as far as, he's thick, kind of like a Brock Lesnar, obviously not as muscular as Brock, but the thickness of it. And he just carries weight. And you look and go, how in the world at 6'4" did you make 185 pounds? Yeah. And so I looked and the one thing I was looking for in this is, if it had gone past the first round and gotten into the third, how was his cardio now at 205? Because he had fought before at 205 and he looked good, but how is it now when he's fighting the competition that he is in the UFC? How is that cardio looking at 205 compared to what it was at 185? Because look, we saw him dominate people all the time in a 1-round fight and get the win. And then when he got, you can a lot of his fights, when you look and you go, look at what happened when someone got past all of that aggression that he has and all of that positional advantage that he attains, you know, and then he dies.
Yeah.
And, you know, you look and you go, I think 205 is the right weight for him. I think that, you know, he looked great against Dolidze. You know, Dolidze is a good grappler, but RDR's, he's got that, you know, there's certain people that they've got something that creates problems for everyone. And on the ground, he does.
I'm not big on attacking leg locks on guys that have long legs.
Yep.
The reason being is they're able to stand over you and still punch you in the face.
Yeah. And I say, and that's it. You look and you go, you know, everyone gets into the leg lock game, and that's great.
Yeah.
When it's jiu-jitsu, you have to be absolutely sure. In MMA, you know, there's a huge difference. And yeah, it's even happening now in combat jiu-jitsu. You know, you're seeing these people where it's supposed to be that you're on the ground. And so you're seeing a guy actually being standing over and then trying to put his knee on the ground to bring his slaps in on someone. But it's a different game when you can be hit, you know.
Yeah.
Leg locks are fantastic, but you bring striking into it, you better be sure that you have a position that's going to keep your head out of range of someone being able to, you know, put one on you, because all it takes is one, and your head is open because your arms are absolutely, you know, committed to the leg. And so you're going to get blasted. So you have to be very careful with it.
Another question. Vitor, Petrino, and Spivac. Did you watch that fight?
I saw a little bit. I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't watch the whole thing.
Let me just tell you this: dominant first 2 rounds for Petrino. Spivac just seemed fearful of the power and like
I saw the 2 rounds.
Yeah,
I didn't see the last round.
The last round though was literally like Petrino realizing he's ahead and just circling, staying away on the outside.
Yeah.
But does this kind of let everyone know where the state of like the heavyweight division is at? You have such an athletic fighter, built like a Greek god, very marketable.
Yep.
And then you get this kind of thing, like you were dominating him. Why not try to get him out of there? What, like, and you have a guy who was outside the rankings beating the number 6 guy. I mean, that lets you know that the heavyweight division and the light heavyweight division are kind of just in a mess right now.
Oh, it's in flux. You got to be honest and you know, right now, both of those divisions are the weakest divisions the UFC has.
In the sport, I think. Not even just the UFC. I think it's in the sport.
Well, yeah. If you want to go all the way across, you're right.
Yeah.
You know, I think they have filled some holes with some new talent, and some of the talent coming up, you know, from the light heavyweight, that's going to help. I think that the light heavyweight division has been helped by some talent coming up from the middleweights.
Whitaker, RDR. We'll see if they keep Roman Dolidze. I hope they do keep him, let him get settled in a little bit. But But I think RDR and Whitaker are definitely going to be some good additions.
Absolutely. It's a great addition. We're going to see how Jamal Hill does, you know, when he comes back
to heavyweight.
You know,
he's looking a little plump right now.
In the pictures, he took it to heart.
Yeah.
So you got to look at it. I know he'll get himself in shape. You know, we can all have those.
He was birthing a fucking baby, John. Like, jeez, man.
Like, bro, you've never been there, but I have been there.
Yeah. Like, what do you do?
But I do think that there is a light that we're seeing as far as a shift in a lot of the talent, which is good. You know, it's really good. But the heavyweight division right now, you know, you got to be honest. Everything about it is a question mark. You know, Aspinall, he's the undisputed, but there's a question mark there, and it's not so much of his talent, super talented guy, but when's he going to fight? Who's he going to fight? Is he going to fight?
Yeah,
you know, it's that. Then you have, you know, Cyril Gahn, who is the guy that you look and say, well, it's got to be when Tom is ready to fight. It's got to be Cyril Gahn that he fights again. He had the 1 round and the eye poke, and so now it's Cyril Gahn is the interim champion after the whole White House thing. And so he's got to be the guy that, you know, Aspinall takes on. But when's that going to happen? You know,
hopefully before the end of the year, right?
You would hope. But that whole thing is holding up a lot of the heavyweight division. And, you know, you got some young talent, good talent coming up, but it's young. You know, Gable, obviously he's a super talented guy. he can make a big mark. But if he keeps fighting the way that he is, I love it. It's fun to watch, but he's not being safe. He's not utilizing what's his best tool, and he's going in there. Maybe he'll do it different with a different fighter, but he's got, there's question marks about, okay, you're being coached by a guy with great fight IQ. Watching you is fun. I love watching you, but it's questionable as far as the fight IQ when a guy with your background, your credentials, doesn't even try for a takedown.
Yeah.
It's okay. It worked for you. So obviously you knew what you were doing, but is that going to continue?
Yeah. I look at Hokit, Josh Hokit, and I think to myself, he has the hand speed. He's got some pretty good power. He's got a good chance of beating Tom Aspinall just because stylistically he's a bad matchup for Tom Aspinall.
Look, Hokit has everything that's needed right now.
It's a little cringe.
No, I'm not.
But okay, you're talking about in the cage.
In the cage. Thank you very much. The outside stuff, hey, that's on him, and that's whatever he wants to do, whatever he thinks is going to work for him to get people's attention. Great, but in the cage, first off, his hand speed, he's fast.
Yeah,
he's got good hand speed. He's got good wrestling. And this is the difference maker in this whole thing, Josh. Is you don't have to be the best wrestler. You just have to have good wrestling, and he does. You don't have to be the guy that won the NC2A championship. You go back and years ago when Cain Velasquez was going to fight Brock Lesnar, and people were going, "Oh, Brock was the NC2A champion." I go, "That's what you think is going to be the difference in this fight? Are you fucking high?" I'm not saying that Brock didn't win. He did. He won the NC2A championship. I think Cain came in fourth or something like that.
Yeah, I think he ended up settling for 6. I think is what it was.
He was All-American. I know that. And it's like, okay, that means that he's super competitive with him. Yeah. Okay, there. And now you bring in a guy that wants to punch, can kick, and has cardio for days at the heavyweight. Yeah, Brock's at a big disadvantage at this thing. But there was a lot of people that thought, that, Brock was going to walk right through Cain.
We'll leave those people nameless.
Yeah, well, we'll leave those people nameless. But, a lot of people listen to him all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand. Like it's, you just do the eye test, right? Brock Lesnar is this much bigger than Cain. Sure. He's built bigger. He's better wrestling credentials. But there's just one thing. I'm sorry, man. When I look at Cain and I've been around Cain, that you just can't replace that heart. And that gas tank is fucking insane.
Yep.
It's just insane. So, but yeah. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Any other fights on it? Like, I thought the card was a good card. I thought there was some good fights on the card. I thought it was a good card. Obviously, Fluffy dogged it out. Petrino kind of laid an egg, kind of ruined I wouldn't say he ruined the card, but he took the lust. He took like the excitement out of the card because everyone was going into it. RDR had a great performance. Mason Jones was doing well until he got fucking blasted in the face with 3 elbows in a row. I thought Medeiros did a great job of coming back after the first round, losing to Mason Jones and having a great second round. 4 minutes in, or not 4 minutes, 2 minutes in the second round. Great performance, gets the elbows, rocks him with 3 elbows, puts him away. Yep. This young girl, Carly Judici or whatever, she's good.
Judas,
she's good. She's very talented. Yeah, she's very talented, man. I'm not fully high on the Anthony Wint kid. I think that he's got the look, very marketable. I love, he got on the mic, did a great job. But
did a great job with the choke too.
Yeah. But John, he also didn't know how to defend a Kimura from side control. Gave me flashbacks of early UFC, like 6, 8, 10, somewhere around there, where guys like, what is this move you're doing to me? Like, just anyways. But look, when you have a guy that has that look about him, built well, athletic. I mean, this guy, I think he played in the NFL for a couple of years with the New York Giants.
Yep.
I mean, very, very talented,
he's built like
very athletic, built like a
brick shithouse, man.
Yeah, right.
Solid as hell.
So I look forward to that. I look forward to seeing him move on. Emmers didn't get any love against Douglas. Everyone kept counting Emmers out. Emmers gets the finish. Great job on that. Godziev over in Chikawu. Just what can you say? Hit him with a beautiful shot, dropped him. Chris Padilla and Nasrat had a sleeper of a fight. until the last 2 seconds, 3 seconds of the fight. Good on Padilla, though, on not just like, hey, I'm going to cruise and coast this thing in. You know, I thought he did a great job of getting to that position. The fight of the night was Gage Young and this Stanley Dorsonville kid. I don't know if you saw it, but John, this Dorsonville kid, long, tall, lanky, took some big shots in the first round, kind of got beat up a little bit, but then he came back, went back to his corner, and apparently, like, he took to it. I didn't get to hear it, but Angelo was telling me, he's like, he looked to his corner and goes, I don't see what he's hitting me with. What is he hitting me with? He's hitting me with the straight shot. Cool. Reset, came back out, second, third round, wins. Fights a great fight after that. Like, that, this kid, this is his debut. Gets called on 5 days notice, 6 days notice, comes in. That type of mentality, I'm like, this kid's got it. Like, this kid, like, I was very impressed the change that he made from round 1 to round 2 and into round 3, how he had to dig deep to really get through it on a 5-day notice fight. I thought he would get fight of the night, performance tonight, got nothing. That shit drives me crazy, John.
Hold it. Look where he is on their card. And the fact that no one knows him. And he's got to do more than he's going to have to get some fantastic finish for him to even, be considered for one of those bonuses. That's just the way it is, right?
Can I ask you a question, though?
Yeah.
Why is it when rich people go to like a food place, they get free food? And why is it that when the main event, co-main event, and the fighters on the main card, they get the bonuses over the guys that are like making 10 and 10, 12 and 12?
That's true. Yeah. The guys that you look and you go, that guy's going to really freaking change things up with that bonus.
John, let me just say this. I make more money doing the podcast than that guy made getting punched in the face.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild? I get more money talking about his fight.
Yeah.
Than he made for that fight.
But
there's something wrong with that.
Yeah, but hold on. I always look at it this way, and it's exactly what you're doing right now. I always tell everyone, that's coming into, that first UFC fighter, hey, look at this. This is your moment to shine. This is your moment to make a statement about who you are and let everyone know, hey, I like this kid. I like the way this guy fights. I like what I see out of him. Don't let that, the big lights put you into a coma that, doesn't allow you to perform the way you're capable of. And so just the fact that you're talking about him, it's a win. It's a win, and it's,
I feel like you've got to talk about these young guys, the ones that put on fights like that with those performances. You got to talk about, like, you and I talked about Jason Jackson on the Rogan show. Rogan then is talking about Jason Jackson to somebody else on, I think Sterling or something. Aljamain Sterling. He's talking to somebody else about him. I love that Joe is now like realized, like, who is this guy? I don't know who this guy is. And then he went and looked him up. And he's like, this guy's a fucking savage. Why we don't have him? And from what I understand, the UFC is not interested at all. And John, it breaks my heart because this guy, you match him with Carlos Prates, you match him with Ian Gary, you match him, you're gonna get a great fight. Great fight. I mean, he may get knocked out. He may knock him out. Win. Yeah. I'm not saying he's gonna win. I'm saying that you all we've ever heard from fans. We're tired of the wrestlers, tired of the Dagestani wrestlers, or tired of the guys that just hold you and hump your leg. This dude comes from a wrestling background, but he stands.
He don't wrestle.
Oh, he don't wrestle. Yeah. It doesn't. You'll get a big throw out of him once in a while, but it's just to basically cause a scramble and get back into the punching. So I would, with that division being as stacked as it is, they took on Amosov, and he's making some gains as well. And everyone's talking about. Yeah, he is making some.
And that, I think that's one of the things that actually caught Joe's attention. Is Joe is high on Amosov now, and he should be, But then when he looks at the one in the only loss in Amosov's career, look at who's the person that created that, Jason Jackson, and that wasn't it was a close fight. It was a one-sided beatdown.
Yeah, it was.
And
Amosov was never in that fight. No,
never. Not from the very beginning. It just was not his night, and it definitely was Jason's the way he was fighting. So.
I just look at the matchups, John.
I would love to see Jason in the in the UFC, but hopefully, look at the best part is you've got the PFL now with MVP or the MVP organization. You got Scott Coker, Scott Coker used to, have Jason Jackson on his roster. So he's going to be somewhere and he's going to be doing good things.
Frato 1, it's Jason Jackson, not Damon Jackson, buddy. Different guys. I just look at Jason's tall, long, lanky for the weight class. If you were to match him against Pratis, if you were going to match him against Ian Gary Machado, Michael Morales, Jack Della and him would be a fun fight. Like Gable Bonfim and him would be a fun fight. Yep. I'm not saying you throw him right into the fray, young man.
Why not?
You put him.
He's
you
capable.
Put him in that mix.
He's had enough. Dude, I look at someone like you could throw Jason Jackson in there against anybody in the top 10, and he's going to give you a fight.
Medic, Euros Medic, Buckley. Those are all fun fights for him. Great fight. Kevin Holland and him would be a fun fight.
Yep.
Like it would just be fun. I don't know. I just feel like if you want to add more like fun, action-packed fighters to your welterweight division, to me, this is the most stacked division in the sport right now. And if you were to add him in there, given his, win over Amosov and given like the way his fighting style is, I just don't understand why they wouldn't add him. From what I understand, they're just like, we're gonna.
Sometimes, if you recall, Jason was on the Ultimate Fighter. If you recall, and they had the ATT versus Black Zillions. That was the year that Jason was there. And Jason, he had some good performances. Then he had one where he got hurt with like an injury, and fight was over quick, and just because he had to pull out. And then they tried to bring him back, and then he had another ankle injury in the Dana White Contender Series. And they look at him like, oh, he's kind of brittle, and he's not. It's just that the 2 times that he's been in the position to be in front of them, you look and it hasn't worked out well. I mean, he did have some wins on the Ultimate Fighter, but I look and I know how good a fighter is. You know how good a fighter is, and sometimes talent isn't enough.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They just get something in their head that makes it to where they decide, you're not my cup of tea.
I hate it. Just feels like we're missing out. Or I feel like
you're missing out on good fights.
Yeah, I'm like, gosh, you feel like you're guys. UFC, we've been with you guys from the beginning. Like we're nerds. Like do us a solid, man. Get us this kid.
The best part is if you look and you go and you look at background on Jason Jackson, and his work ethic is unbelievable. If you ever watch him from when he was at Black Zillions to when it turned into Hard Knocks and then Stanford and then Killcliff, he's always been one of the leaders in that. And he's a guy, he's in there training with everyone. All these guys that, are the killers, and it just doesn't matter. He's sparring with all of them, training with all of them, always helpful to everyone. And then, dude, he is a workaholic, not just in the gym.
Yeah,
that guy's got more businesses that he has started. He's got a car wash, he's got gardening things, and he works at all of them.
The coconut one gets stud. The car wash, he does the coconut where he climbs the trees and cuts coconuts and
coconut up,
coconut and whatever, man.
Makes coconut drink, baby.
That's funny.
He's a hardworking son bitch.
I want to wrap it up on that talk here, but I'm going to say, look, there's guys. You've got D-Rod and him would be fun. Kevin Holland and him would be fun. Mike Malott and him would be fun. I'm going to skip over Kamaru Usman because I think Kamaru probably is able to wrestle him, plus their teammates. Euros Medic, Joaquin Buckley, Leon Edwards, all stand-up guys. Bonfim, Young, up and come. Sean Brady, grappling, maybe able to hold him down, take him down, get to that position. Jack Della and Michael Morales and Ian Gary Machado. Predominantly all strikers in that weight class, and this guy loves to strike. Tall, long, lanky. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see him in the UFC. I just wish the UFC would give him a chance. Give him a chance. Give him an opportunity. Call him on last minute. Do what you got to do. They do that all the time anyways. Absolutely. Call him on last minute, get him in the UFC, and let's just see it all happen. Guys, if you guys are listening to this, I'm telling you guys, go out there, hit the UFC up. Rogan's been doing his part on his show talking about him. So, and we brought him up. So I just got to make sure we just keep doing it, keep talking about him. So
he's a hell of a fighter.
He is. He's a hell of a fighter. So, there was some stuff going on in Vegas over the weekend, or not over the weekend, over the last numbered event. It was Gable.
No, over the last weekend. I did boxing there. It was awesome.
Yes. By the way, I love the bow tie.
Got the bow tie, baby.
I love it. Love it. Yeah. Not used to seeing you in blue, by the way.
I know.
Very strange. Very strange. I had to cut you did a video talking about something, how his boxing, this and that over MMA and reffing, and I was just like, I couldn't take my eyes off of the blue shirt and the little black bow tie. I was like, oh,
pretty.
Yeah, I thought you were looking a little zesty. I would have capitalized on that. Yeah, look, let's talk Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier came out and he's talking about Nevada State Athletic Commission. And I'm gonna play a little soundbite. This is from his Instagram, so I'm gonna go ahead and play this, and we'll go from there. Okay. Whoops. Let me pull this up real quick. Where are we at? His, not that one. This one. There you go.
Are in a sport that at times can be ridiculous. 3 fighters from UFC 329 are having sanctioning hearings for celebrations. I got to be honest with you. That is probably the most ridiculous rule in mixed martial arts. Look, man, we got rules, right? You can't kick each other in the nuts. Of course, you shouldn't kick each other in the nuts. You should not poke each other in the eye, and you should not do certain things when you're fighting. But to tell me a fighter to not celebrate, it's absurd. Max Holloway, Paddy, Pimblett, and Gable Steveson are going to go in front of the Nevada State Athletic Commission because of their celebrations. They jumped on top of the cage. I'm just saying, you can't help it. You really cannot help it. Listen, I believe that the Nevada State Athletic Commission and California, they set the standard for commissions around the world. But this rule right here is absolutely absurd. When I fought Stipe Miocic, I knocked him out and I jumped on the cage. Because if you play out 100 scenarios, most times you don't get to that one. You can't ask a fighter to have the awareness to not go and do that because they're so filled with joy, but also reset their mind and celebrate.
John, we've known for years that jumping on the cage is forbidden. Like they tell you you'll be penalized, they tell you you'll be fined, they'll tell you all these things. That being said, what made them start being like, hey, we're going to start fining you?
Your teammate?
Which one? I've got a couple of them. Islam?
Nope.
Oh, Habib? Oh, Habib. Yep. But John, that was years ago. When
whoa. I want you to go back to those 3 guys. Each one of them did what? They not only jumped on the cage, they jumped outside of the cage. They went from being in the cage, and when you're on top, and you'll see a lot of guys on top, they don't get this. But your teammate, Habib Nurmagomedov, set the standard for we cannot have people leaving that cage. Okay? And so now you have all these guys, they not only get on top, then they jump off and they jump down and they hug people. And look, I know that they're just happy with, what's occurring. And I'm 100% for it. And I'm not the guy who's black and white on this. I think you got to live in the gray and understand, what's really happening. And is there a difference between what Habib did and what Gable did or Max Holloway did or Paddy? Yes, there's a difference. But there comes a point when you're told, hey, do not do this.
Yeah.
We're telling you, hey, do not go up, do not go over that cage, do not, jump out, can't have it. There's going to be a point where they say, okay, we've told people enough times now and they're not listening. And so now we're going to start to make an example of some people. And, do I think that the Nevada State Athletic Commission is going to fine these guys? No, I don't. I think the Nevada State Athletic Commission is trying to, use these guys to get everyone else's attention of, if you don't want to end up here, possibly with the ability to lose money, then listen to us. And when we say, don't leave the cage, don't leave the cage. And, I totally understand, what Dan is saying. And I agree with him. I do, when I look at the big picture. And I think that, first off, the people that sit on the Nevada State Athletic Commission, they're pretty reasonable people. The guy who runs the commission, Jeff Mullins, is not only one of the nicest and kindest people there is, he's super smart about why he does things and what he's going to do to tell his commissioners, this is the reason we're doing this, this is why they're coming before you, and this is what we're trying to get across to every other fighter who now fights in the state of Nevada. Sometimes, you know what? When you put your hand in the cookie jar after someone told you not to, it can get smacked. It's getting smacked a little bit. We'll see. I could absolutely be wrong. I don't think you're going to see fines. I think you're going to see someone saying, please don't do that again. And, it's to try to get people's attention.
I think if you're jumping on the cage,
you won't see that happening. I'm saying you won't see them bringing people in front of the commission if someone jumps up on the cage, stays on top of the cage, puts their hands up, all that stuff. You wouldn't have seen it. It's when you see them leaving the cage.
When they go over it. Got it. Okay.
Your guy, he's the one that created. If you remember
fly
him,
like an eagle.
Fly. Dylan Dennis. Hello. Ha. I am now the Karate Kid.
Dylan deserved that shit. I don't give a fuck.
Hold on. I'm telling you right now.
Dylan deserved that.
I have no problem at all with the thought process that was going through Habib's head. And I kind of agree with it, but it can't be done because look at the danger that actually is created for the people that are there just to enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
You get fights and, people, running into other people, knocking them down. You just can't have it.
Yeah. I remember when the first time I ever saw someone jump out, I can't remember what fight it was, but I remember it was Jose Aldo. He jumped over and ran into the crowd.
Yeah. It was
in Brazil.
UFC, I want to say it was 130. It was 134.
Something. He ran up into the script somewhere in Brazil.
It was in Brazil. And it was against Chad Mendes.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was absolutely awesome. So I love that. I wish we could do that more often, but I understand you can cause fights, fans can get into it. It can ruin the whole event. It seems fun at the time, but I do understand that. But yeah, I don't want to see people. So you're just saying if they go outside the cage, if they jump off and leave the cage, then there's fines. Okay. I get that part.
It's the same thing. Think about it. Eddie Alvarez was the first guy that I really remember doing a backflip off of the cage. And Justin Gaethje does it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And they're told all the time, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. Have you ever seen him get fined?
No.
Justin's done it how many times in Nevada?
Yeah.
Right. But you have seen, and I have seen a fighter do that and land on
someone. Yeah.
And create a huge lawsuit. And
still going through it, I think, right now, right?
Absolutely.
It's been years they're still going through that.
Yep. And so you look and you go, there's reasons, you're trying to, take a look and say, hey, I understand the celebration, but I can't have you do certain things because I'm not saying it's going to happen with you, but look at what happened here and you're putting yourself into the same boat.
Yeah. It's a shitty situation.
It is
because you get so caught up in the moment and you're not thinking about any of that stuff.
No, and that's why
I just won.
That's why I say, there's the black and white, and then there's all the gray in between, and that's where I believe, the world works. I'm not into, well, it says right here in black and white. I don't care. You got to be reasonable, but there comes a point, especially when you start leaving that cage, you're creating, they've already had the big problem, and they do not want that to ever happen again. And so that's where I think this is coming from.
Yeah, you've got to be very, because that fighter is getting sued. The promotion, I think, was getting sued. Like everyone was getting sued. The network was getting sued because it was their fighter under contract. And right. You're there. The network plus the promotion is supposed to be taking care of all the employees, and you put them in harm's way by a fighter doing something like that. And it's crazy.
Nothing was meant by the fighter. The fighter didn't mean to hurt anybody, but when it happens, well, then that's when all of a sudden everyone says, don't you ever do that again. And then these are the things that occur. So
I'm wondering when Eddie and Justin are going to be too old to do that backflip, because that shit's crazy.
Well, it's not only that. I've seen other guys do it and hurt themselves. I've seen guys do the backflip and then, pop their knee. It's like, Jesus. Remember Johnny Walker doing the fish on the ground, separate
shoulder.
Yeah. And you look and you go, oh God.
There was a fighter that was bouncing around. He jumped up real high and hurt his knee.
Oh yeah. Kevin Randleman.
Was it Randleman?
Remember Kevin used to do this hop.
Yeah.
before the fight would start. I mean, and dude, he's got like springs in he had springs in his legs. He was so athletic.
Yeah.
And he actually came down and landed, and it hurt him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ezra over here talking shit about me. Josh talking like an old man. Laugh out loud. These kids and their backflips. You're damn fucking right. It hurts me to watch them land, John. I cringe now. When I was a kid, I used to watch people like ride their bikes into the wall or into the back of a car, or like they would skateboard and someone would run them over. And I was like, oh, this is cool watching these guys get hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Now I'm watching the videos. I'm like, ooh, I just turn it away. It gives me this anxiety. I don't want to watch anymore. That's when you know you're getting old.
Yeah.
There was also some other stuff talking. Max Holloway comes out and he says, hey, title fight or the rematch with Conor McGregor. And let me play this little soundbite real quick with Dustin Poirier. He's talking on the Paramount Plus podcast that they do, I think, with Dean Thomas and Chris Weidman. I'll play this for you here.
Don't forget George Masvidal.
Yeah, Masvidal as well. Masvidal's a voice in this also.
Earn the right through his body of work to say this. It's big fights only, man. He was a featherweight champion. He has a knockout win over the current undisputed lightweight champion. It's only big fights. He was a BMF champion. What else can he do?
Big fights only. I can't disagree.
Big fights only.
Like, if you say big fights only, like why throw a guy like Quillen Sal killed at him? Like he should be fighting in the big fights.
Yeah, big fights only.
I don't see him getting the welterweight shot like immediately. I don't think that's going to happen. But I think 55, him versus Gaethje makes a lot of sense. And I also do think him weighing for Conor, yes, he could do that. But I don't want to see him going out like Chandler.
I think he's earned the right through his body of work to say this.
I feel the same way. I don't want to see him wait around for Conor like a Michael Chandler. But I have to agree with Dustin. Dustin has a very good point. He deserves the right to kind of not handpick his opponents, but to pick the fighters that motivate him. I feel the same way about Kamaru Usman. More so Max, because Max has done it in two different weight classes. Kamaru's fought in two different weight classes as well. I'm not discrediting that at all.
Yeah.
But Max is legit. He's got a knockout win and a very dominant performance over Justin Gaethje at 155 pounds, who is now the current champion. He has a right to say, yeah, I'd like a title shot. And if it's not going to be him, give me somebody that motivates me, somebody that really fucking lights a fire under my ass. Because at this age and how long he's been doing it, John, you need those people to inspire you to get back in the gym and put that work in. I said I think his next fight should be Ilia Topuria in the rematch at 155.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
That's the fight that I would like to see.
Does that for I totally I side with Dustin Poirier.
Yeah.
I side exactly with him in saying, hey, there comes a point in your career when the belt is one thing and you get that opportunity, and Max has had that opportunity and won it, and he's had the opportunity and lost. But there comes a point where it's, hey, I have to get excited for what I'm doing. And I have to be in that place where this motivates me. And sometimes the belt, after you've had it, doesn't motivate you.
It doesn't.
It's I've been there, done that. It's a bucket list thing. I've checked that off. Now it's more about the names that I get to say I competed against is more important to me than having that belt, because there's things that come with the belt that are really good, and there's things that come with the belt that aren't too fun.
Yeah.
That you end up having to do. And so when you've had a career like Max Holloway, I totally agree with Dustin. There comes that point when it's more about, these are the guys that I want to fight. These are the matchups that I'm looking for. And if you don't put me in a title fight, that's okay. I'm good with that. But the problem in reverse is, if you are the UFC and you're the promoter and you have this guy and you give him those names and then he's beating those names, you got to do something with him. You can't just have him beating your guys. So there is a give and take with it.
This is true. But look, they were talking, like they said, hey, like we wouldn't have him fight Salkill. And I would 100% agree. Do not have him fight Salkill. Why? Salkill's what, 25, 26 years old?
Yes.
Why would I give him to Max? Max seasoned veteran. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Southfield has a bright future, but I'm
He
not
does.
trying to derail the young talent against Max.
That's
Someone like Max.
Okay. Look at, and this is the whole point. God damn. You try to explain to people, look, there's levels to this. And when I say levels, it's not just about what you're seeing when they compete. It's the things that they're doing and the way they're doing them, and then their ability to change up. And Max is what we call there's the term of a seasoned veteran.
Mhm.
Okay. But he's a seasoned veteran that is still sitting at the top of the food chain. Okay. Meaning he is so smart about being able to change what he does in a fight, being able to alter what is occurring and make a fight that is not going his way. All of a sudden, the momentum turns, and it doesn't turn because, all of a sudden he got lucky. No, he made it happen. And that's what a smart, wily, seasoned veteran can do. Where a young fighter, like Quillen, when you're looking at him, it's like he's good, but he doesn't have the background right now to be able to do the things that seasoned veteran can do. Now he can come out and start winning, and everything can be going his way. And then all of a sudden, when things start to change, because the veteran changed what was occurring, now he's going to try to do that. He doesn't have that same toolbox to go into, and things start going downhill. And if you're the UFC, what does that do for you as a promotion in allowing this guy who everyone thinks should beat this kid? It doesn't do anything for you. You want to build up this kid because he is good and he is young and he is the future for you. I want to build him up with these other people and get it to where now he starts to have that fighter IQ that can get him out of the bad situations and get him into winning fights that he's having a hard time with. It doesn't make sense to put someone like Max against him.
It doesn't at all. I feel the same way. I don't want to see Max and Paddy either. Paddy's on his way up. He's already established. I know that's a great fight. I think it's very
Paddy's
marketable
established.
Fight. He's established.
He's not at the level that Max has been.
No,
but he's established.
No, he 100% he's established. I just don't want to derail him on his way to a potential title shot because, like John, we've seen Paddy right now is probably second, maybe third biggest star in the UFC, if not he's right there. He's teetering in that first place.
Come on, man. You see people in the stands when he goes, they're doing it.
And then he gains his popularity.
X factor.
Yeah. His popularity after the Justin Gaethje fight started to go down a little bit. And then the way Ilya lost to Justin, they're like, oh, Paddy really is good.
He's really good.
All of a sudden, we knew he wasn't ready for Justin. And you're like, now Ilya gets finished by Justin. I'm like, wait, Paddy's pretty damn good. I'm like, yeah, dude,
not bad.
And he's great on the mic, and he seems like a very good person. Love watching him. I love everything that he represents. And so I don't know if you give him someone like a Max. Let me ask you this. If they do bring in Umar Nurmagomedov, do you give him Max? I think Charles more so, because Charles is so well-rounded. Charles is also 37, I think, 36, 37 years old.
Is he that old?
I think so, yeah.
I'm thinking he's more 35.
Oh, maybe.
I could be wrong.
I'll look it up real quick.
I thought Charles, if I was going to bring Umar Nurmagomedov in, I would put him against Charles because you're putting him against a completely legit
36. October, it'll be 37.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so he's
man, age sucks.
Yeah. I love watching.
I'm not having any more. I am not personally having any more birthdays. Yeah. I'm just staying where
right. That's how it works around here, buddy.
So that's the only way, man.
He turns 37 in October 17th.
Yeah.
God, he's born 1989.
Dude, I hate him.
That's wild.
Shit.
I was 1 year away from high school. I went to high school when I was 13. These kids in Texas right now, They're in 7th. They're just going into 7th grade as 13-year-olds.
Yeah.
John, my freshman year, I was 13. I turned 14 right when,
Same thing.
I was
Dude, I was
gypped out of
17. I was 17 playing Division I sports. It's like that was a bad thing. I got
That's
killed.
wild. That's wild, man.
Ah.
I guess when I'm looking at let's look at the lightweight division. The lightweight division, like if you bring Usman in and you've got Max, he's around that area. I mean, you've got Max, Charles, Armand, Ilya, and obviously Justin at the top. You bring Usman in there. There's some fights to be had there. But what do you do with Max, knowing that he just lost to Charles the way he lost? Just controlled. That not a lot of damage, none of that stuff, just controlled.
Yep.
Grappled, out wrestled, and taken down and stuff. But Max, not getting a real fight out of Connor. Now what do you do? Like he's in this weird stage right now where you didn't really earn a win, but you did earn a win. But we all love you, so let's just give you the best fight we possibly can.
Well, if you're going to give him the fight that, you look at and you go, which one makes sense? It really is the title fight against Justin based upon, they had the fight and at the time it was the BMF title, but he's got to win over the champ. Does the champ want to, get that win back? That's the real question. And, but it makes sense. It's come on, you could put up that knockout, for your marketing and say, this is what happened to him. And this is what he did to the guy that did this. And so what's going to happen? I mean, it's so easy to market that fight. And it's a no-brainer because you're a winner either way. If you're the UFC, you're not losing anything. It's it's a great place to be for them, because many times the promoter's kind of hoping that one wins over the other. They're not going to care. I'm a winner either way. Justin gets the win, great. Max gets another one, great. And then just by bringing in Usman, you're lighting things on fire for that entire division, because you can put him against anyone. If you want to put him against, Charles, I think that's a great fight for you to put him against, because you're actually trying to use Charles's name.
Yeah,
let's be honest. And obviously his teammate has a win against Charles, but he's a different fighter, so you never know what's going to happen. But if you're going to be, trying to, to light a fire, you got Arman. And if you're going to say what would be the most difficult fight for Usman coming into the UFC, I think Arman might be the most difficult fight.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. That is a very tough fight. Someone just brought up
many times the UFC wants to prove something.
Yeah. But do you want to prove it with the Nurmagomedov name? That's the problem. That name carries so much weight and money for them.
Oh yeah.
Like that brings in revenue.
Yeah, absolutely.
And at the end of the day, this is what, John? It's a business.
It's a business, man.
It's a business. So when I look at this, I think someone just brought up, if Saladin Parnas is able to get past Hooker on his debut,
able to?
Do you put him? Do you put him against Max? Do you put him against somebody in that top tier? I mean, they're paying him pretty well if he's automatically being a debut fighter and he's a main event against someone like a Hooker. They're going to be paying him well.
Oh yeah. Look, Parnas he's good.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, he's way better than just because people don't know him, until you see. And I mean, his stand-up is freaking legit. I mean, it is so good, so sharp. The angles that he creates, and we're talking 3, 4, 5-piece combos, and he's landing every one of them. You look and you go, damn, he's that guy. And he's right now, he's in his prime, and he's super athletic, super fast. Like, I think there are people, obviously, in the UFC that are going to give him problems. What he's always looking for is someone's going to stand up and try to bang with him. What's Dan Hooker going to do? That's who Dan is. And so it's kind of they're really looking, and you can tell by they want a great fight. Obviously, Dan Hooker is a great fighter who brings it. but this being in Paris, and being in his hometown, and this is his chance to shine, and they want him to. This is not one where they're giving him a hard opponent to, just so they can say, hey, we didn't give him, a gimme. We gave him a tough dude in Dan Hooker. But style wise, this is exactly what Pernas is looking for in what Dan Hooker brings. Yeah. Dan doesn't look for takedowns. Yeah. Dan looks to beat you down. And Pernas is the guy that's standing there saying, well, let's do it. And so
someone's asking why is it's Dingo 82. Why is Pico not fighting? Pico's scheduled to fight against Arnold Allen. He's coming up here soon. I think it's sometime in October. I think
that's a good matchup.
That's a damn good fight. Yeah. And that's going to give Pico some problems. The length, I think. He'll be able to out wrestle Arnold Allen.
Yes,
but Arnold's wrestling's not bad. He doesn't. I don't think Arnold doesn't believe in himself.
It's sometimes the one thing, and people, they don't understand. Wrestling in MMA is different than wrestling, when we talk about freestyle wrestling or anything like that. And it's different than jiu-jitsu is, in a jiu-jitsu match, guys aren't trying to stand up. They go to the ground and then we're going to roll on the ground. We're going to do our, moves here, and that's not what happens in MMA anymore. People that are just decent as far as ground skills are outstanding as far as getting up. That's the key. And to hold somebody down that wants to get up, Islam is showing you. Like, Islam is as good a grappler as you will find in MMA. And how many times did Ian Gary get up? Yeah. Right? That's because it is difficult to just put weight and hold someone down. That their whole thing is, I'm putting my hands to the ground, I'm getting my feet to the ground, and I'm getting my ass up. It is not an easy thing to hold someone in that position. And so even with, Pico being the better wrestler, he's never been great at holding people down.
No.
And so,
it's the Mike Van Arsdale effect, man. Mike Van Arsdale could take guys down at will.
Mike Van Arsdale took everyone down. Exactly. But couldn't hold him down. And that frustrated him to no end and made him tired. Yeah. And that frustration would just burn energy for him. And it's like, you got to get used to saying, well, if you get up, 2 times, I'm taking you down 3. If you get up 23, I'm taking you down 24. That's just got to be your mindset. I know it's not easy to do, but that's the mindset. That's the Habib Nurmagomedov mindset. And he would get some of his fights. He just about did it. But it's this whole thing with Aaron Pico is a way better wrestler than Arnold Allen. It's not even close. But Arnold Allen's really good at getting up. And Pico's going to have a hard time. This is going to be on the feet a lot. And we're going to see, do we see the Aaron Pico that presses in the fight and starts to push beyond being that intelligent fighter? Or do we see what we saw when he fought Pitbull and he took his time in and then out, didn't overextend? Those are the things you're looking for to see. Is he progressing and being smart about the way he's going after people?
Yeah. Someone who's going to need to work on his get-ups is going to be Song Yadong this weekend, though. He's going to be wrestling against Umar Nurmagomedov in this fight over in China. Got to meet with Umar hopefully tonight. We're trying to get on track. He's in China 13 hours ahead. So I've been struggling for us to meet to get this interview. So I'm trying to get this interview done hopefully before the fight this week. But very tough fight for Song Yadong, but he possesses power. I think he'll be the faster fighter. His takedown defense has gotten a lot better over the last probably 2 years. We saw that with Henry Cejudo. I don't know, I think the style that Umar brings, but Umar has been dropped a couple of times in some fights, twice, I believe. And he kind of leaves himself open a little bit. He's my boy and all, and I think he wins this fight. He's gonna have to fight a very smart fight. You cannot get careless for 1 second against Song Yadong because he's still there in a 5-round fight. He'll still be there in great condition in rounds 4 and 5.
No, I look at this as a very difficult fight for Umar in the fact that Song Yadong is fast, super fast, and he's got good wrestling. He really does. He does not. How do I say it? He marks up a lot. He's one of those guys. He's kind of got the Vitor skin and stuff where he'll get touched just a couple times and he's starting to mark up and stuff. And I think Umar is going to be able to touch him quite often. Now, if Umar is smart about the way he goes about, Yadong makes rushes, in his offense. And so if Umar's smart about timing those and keeping that range where it's good for him, I think he's going to do well.
Yeah. Frato 1 is another boring decision by Umar. Brother, these guys, I want to just let you know, man, it is very tough.
I want you to try to finish.
Guys.
Try to finish Song Yadong. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's like it's so tough to fight these guys. These guys are so good. Let me just remind you all, this sport is tough. It's very difficult. Very difficult. So but there is a fight on here. Alex Perez has been looking really good lately. He's fighting Sumadarje. Sumadarje's he's just a gamer. Yeah. And Alex Perez is, look, I actually go back and watch some of his old fights. He's like winning the fights that he's lost. He's winning, and then he gets caught. Either he gets knocked out or he gets submitted, or he's winning those fights though. Yeah. And then lately he's been able to actually pull off some good wins. He's always been a really good fighter, but I think as of lately, he's finally on the receiving end of good fortune of it paying off for him. So I know he's coming off of Charles Oliveira, Sumadarji, obviously with that one, it's a rematch. But Charles Johnson with the win, TKO punches. But he had lost 2 in a row. Let's take a look at who he lost to. He lost to Alimbayev and he lost to Tetsuro Taira. Those were his 2 losses. He knocks out, he KOs Nicolau, and then he loses to Mokaev, and he loses to Pantoja, and he loses to Devison Figueiredo. Those are his last 5 losses in his last 7 fights. Those are not easy matchups, John. No. Those are all former champions. Taira just fought for the title. Alimbayev is not there yet, but he seems like he's on his way. He's at least in that mix of top 5, top 7. And you've got Pantoja, Mokaev, who's still undefeated at 26, 28, 29-0 or something. And Figueiredo, who's coming up who's coming up in weight or whatever it was. No, not coming up in weight. Sorry.
No, he went up in weight.
Yeah, he went up in weight. But it's a big guy for that weight class. So I don't know. I just very, very tough for him. But his losses are against some of the best guys in the weight class.
Look, at Sumadarji's he's just tough.
Yeah.
And you look and you go, can he be beat? Absolutely. But you got to be on your best. And Alex is good in the stand-up. And that's where Sumadarji normally likes to be because he's super long for the weight class. And so the guys that normally create problems, now he has been knocked out, you're right. But normally it's the guys that are taking him down that are his problem. So with Sumadarji, I think Sumadarji will try a takedown on him, but he's going to stand with him. And that's where Alex wants to be. And I think Alex has got the faster hands by far.
Yeah.
And that might be the difference maker for him.
Yeah, I would agree. Look, I want to see Alex win because, man, the guy, I feel like he's been on the receiving end of some shitty situations where he's winning, and then loses, winning, and then loses. I'm like, damn. I mean, he's had some good fights. He's a very talented fighter. Doesn't get the credit he deserves. So hopefully he can rack off a couple of good wins. And this is a big fight for him too because they're going to get into it. They're going to mix it up on the feet. They're going to really get into it. So Yair Rodrigues is out again, pulls out of his fight. John, this is... Look, I had Angelo on him. I brought this up to Angelo. He's like, before I could even finish the sentence, he's like, cut him. They've already cut him. Remember, they cut him before for Zabit.
First off, Angelo's got no heart anyway.
He's just worthless.
Get rid of him.
Yeah.
He's not performing for me.
It's funny. He just sent me a text. He's like, I got my MRI back. He's like, I tore a ligament in my foot, and I tore, and I have a partial tear in one of the tendons. So he's been limping around. He's playing softball. I said, dude, you're fucking... Softball. You're 6'4", fucking 300 pounds. Fucking put it back to the waivers. Let the dogs eat them. No, that guy, I don't know. It's just, I'm like, what are you trying to do? I'm trying to act like you're young and athletic. You were never. He talks about how athletic he was when he was young. I'm like, calm down, buddy. Calm down.
Well,
you wrestled one time, okay? Remember that shirt I had? Remember the shirt I have? Come at me, bro. I wrestled in high school.
Come at me, bro. I wrestled in high school.
That's one of my fucking favorite
That's awesome.
shirts. So he's pulled out again. It seems like when there's a matchup that he doesn't like, he has this tendency to pull out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's had some really, it's not like he hasn't fought anybody. And you look and you go, You know, he's fought the, you know, the who's who, the top talent in the division. You know,
Yeah.
obviously, you know, in fighting guys like, you know, Volkanovski and that, but man, he does have a pattern of, you know, you talk about, I guess, brittle. He kind of has that, you know, a little bit of the brittle, but I think he's so talented. I don't care, you know, he's super talented, and it's just a matter of, you know, be honest, who's going to walk through him? You know, even if you put him against Volkanovski again right now, it's a good fight. Volk's the champ, right? Who's the guy that's just going to tear him up?
I mean, everything I've heard though, like they offer after he had that beef with Diego Lopez, you know, at the presser, they offered him that fight after they both had fought, and then he turned it down. He turned down twice. They just can't seem to get through. He just doesn't want to make any adjustments. He doesn't want to be very much like not quite a John Jones, because John Jones was so great.
Yeah,
so it's like John can get away with it.
You can't complain about anything.
Yeah, you can't.
As far as
like,
who John ended up fighting,
guy's beating everybody, and he's been the longest reigning champion. All this other stuff. I'm like, I don't know. Yeah. It's just hard to like. I really did like him when he came onto the scene, and then all the Zabit stuff happened. They actually cut him for like a year, and they brought him back because apparently they had a great conversation with him and understood where they were at. But now, you know, I feel like every time he gets matched up against somebody, that a stylistic matchup that he doesn't like.
Who are they trying to put him against?
John Silva. Him and John Silva.
Well, yeah, I'm being honest. I look at that fight, and I think John Silva's fun to watch. I love his whole dog thing, you know, the nerd. But I think Yair is the better fighter. Just
technically, yes. Yeah, technically he is. Yeah. I feel like there's a little bit of that. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but he has a little bit of that mental midget about him a little bit.
Maybe he does. I can't say that he does. You know, when I've worked with him, you know, being his referee and stuff, and you know, and I can tell you, it was like, you know, one of the times it was against BJ Penn. You know,
his first fight was that his first fight in the UFC?
No, he had been in the UFC for a couple of fights.
Oh, had he?
Yeah, but it was a matter of, you know, you looked and you went,
nasty.
Oh, and you know, I went to, you know, it was Joe Silva, and I said, hey, what are you doing? You know, I said, you know,
trying to get BJ off the payroll is what we're trying to do.
Dude, that's exactly what it was.
Mr. $2 million, $3 million.
Hey, John, he makes a lot of money, and I'm not giving him an easy fight.
That's right.
Okay, I understand. You know, just knowing going, I'm like, God, and I didn't know that I was going to end up doing the fight. And then I get my assignment sheet, and I went, son of a bitch. And then it was, you know, it's like, I don't want to see, you know, someone of BJ's caliber and, you know, his ability at one time, you know, be the guy that's the nail.
Yeah.
And in that fight, he was the nail.
I'm going to shift gears a little bit. Someone told me, I think it was Angela the other day, was the very first UFC supposed to be an infomercial?
No,
for
it
Gracie
wasn't.
Jiu-Jitsu?
Well, in a roundabout fashion, sure it was. That was Horion's idea of it. That's not what Art Davie, or you got to figure the three people that own the UFC at UFC 1.
We're going to talk about Art Davie too, by the way.
Okay. It was Art Davie was the one that created it. Horion was his partner, and then Bob Meyerowitz was the TV side. So he basically was the third partner in it. You know, and so what did Bob want? Bob wanted something that he could put on more than once. He was trying to break. He did rock and roll stuff and did, you know, concerts. And he did Martina Navratilova versus Jimmy Connors in tennis, kind of like the whole Billie Jean King, Bobby Riggs thing. But it's a one-off. And he wanted something that hopefully he could do multiple times throughout the year. That's what he was looking for. Art was looking to have this, you know, this spectacle that, you know, he had this, you know, who's the greatest fighter in the world? Is it stand-up fighter? Is it the ground fighter? And Horion was, all he wanted to do was get people to, you know, understand that grappling was something that wins fights. And yes, you need to understand what Gracie Jiu-Jitsu or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is. and we're going to show you. And so it was an infomercial for him. Yes, it was, because it was the greatest, commercial you could have for your style of martial arts that, everything at that time was all about punching and kicking. Let's be honest. That's what everyone cared about.
What was Bob Meyerowitz's whole? He did handle the TV side of it all.
Yes, he was the owner of what was called Semaphore Entertainment Group. And he had his people that worked for him. But Mark Lucas was the director. A guy named Pilot was the producer. But they knew the stories out there is, he put out a story that I had a friend who did Taekwondo, and I asked him, how would he do against a karate guy? Well, we don't fight that, and I wanted to know, he never had that conversation. Let's just be honest. Until Art Davie had a meeting with a guy named Campbell McLaren. Campbell McLaren liked what he heard. Campbell worked for Bob. Campbell brought this idea to Bob, saying, hey, I think this could be that thing that we are looking for to be able to do over and over again. And Bob bought into it as far as paying the $50,000 first play, winner. Because, at the time it was $50,000 for the winner of the 3 fights. He, put up that money for it and stuff, and he put up the production.
So Art Davie was the guy who just kind of helped do the matchmaking, or was that Horian?
He did the matchmaking. No, Horian did not do the matchmaking. A lot of people talk about all this stuff as far as, it was set up for Royce and all that stuff. Look, nothing was set up. The very first fight, yes, it was set up for Royce, in the fact that Horian's request was Royce gets to fight the boxer first. And that wasn't because of any, they didn't even know who the boxer was going to be for a long time. It was based upon what did people know in the West. They knew boxing. People, believe that, the best, fighter in the world is the heavyweight champion in boxing. Yeah. And he wanted Royce to fight the boxer first so he could get a win over the boxer and say, hello, that's really what it was at. So that was the only fight that was, put in place for Royce. From that point on, it was a matter of who won. Ken Shamrock won his against Pat, so Royce fought Ken next, and then he fought Gerard Gordeau for the finals. If you look, when it went to UFC 2, they pulled things out of a hat. Then at UFC 3, they started using like a lotto machine with balls. They would assign a number, and a lot of the balls would come up. This ball came up, this ball came up. You match those two fighter names. That's who got to fight. So there was nothing as far as, you hear it all the time. It was set up for him. Bullshit. Fuck off.
Interesting. Before we carry on, guys, there was one I want to let you guys know. I was able to interview Darren Till. He's got his fight coming up with Yoel Romero. That video is dropped, and here's a little soundbite for you.
I don't think this is a fight with me and Yoel where you can talk shit. I think the fight speaks for itself. I've spoke a little bit of shit about UFC, as we all do, but I left on good terms with Dane and Hunter. Like they let me out my contract fairly easily, because I told them, I just said, look guys, I said my body's not right. You see another guy from the same city as me, Paddy. Look at the waves he's making. He's got that energy. He's a good fighter. Clearly, he looks different. He brings more eyes to the sport. I don't think Nate Diaz should fight MMA no more. I think it's past that. I think he doesn't take it as serious. I think it's in it for the money. I don't think, obviously, what Jake Paul's doing, it's commendable, but I don't think the MVP PFL deal is going to ever match the UFC.
Are you crazy?
Crazy or scared? One or the other.
That interview is available right now on the YouTube channel, the Wayne.
He's
channel.
awesome.
He's so fun.
Did you see his stare down with Yoel?
Like 3 minutes.
I just he would not take his eyes off him. I was like, that's awesome. That's just beautiful. Never touched him, never did anything.
I only had him for about 15 minutes because he was doing a press thing. And so they reached out and they said, hey, John Morgan actually kind of had set it up for me. And he's like, hey man, like this is a good interview if you want it. I'm like, hell yeah.
He's
Fucking
great.
Darren
He's
Till, are
great.
you kidding me? He's great.
Yep.
I told Darren, Darren gets on, we get on before, and I'm like, hey, just stay on afterwards until we, until I make sure it's uploaded, all this other stuff we're talking. And he goes, I haven't seen you since you knocked out Nate Diaz. And then he goes on, he's like, and then I saw you another time right after that. He's like, but it was just real quick passing. He's like, man, how you been? What's going on? He was just, it was great. I was like, man, it's been great to catch up with you. And he goes, we got to do this again though. Like there's no time frame. We can just sit and talk. And I'm like, absolutely. Absolutely. I would love to. I'd love to talk with him. He just got so much energy and he's just easy to talk to. The interview flows. I don't have to do shit. Just enjoy the conversation.
If there's one thing Derek can do, well, two things. He can fight, he can talk. He's
great
good at it.
But John, before we leave, I definitely need to get your I gotta do this, John.
Don't do it to me.
I gotta do this. John, tell me the history about this story. About this photo right here.
Who the fuck is that?
There is Mr. John McCarthy, I believe. I saw young Polo, John McCarthy. Is that at high school or Long Beach?
That's
State?
high school, dude. I'm a fucking freshman.
Fucking 6'3" freshman shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great, isn't it? John McCarthy right there.
Well, that is, man.
That is right there.
That's Ross White shot. That's Doug Selvinsky. Down below is Devin Blizzard and Tony Gonzalez. I know all those guys. Yeah.
John, I'm putting that shit on a shirt.
Oh, there was never a doubt. I saw that thing go up there. I said, Josh Thompson's going to put a shirt out with that one.
It's coming in hot, baby. I'm coming in hot.
Yeah,
that was great. Man, what else? What else is there? There's not much else to talk about. It's a little slow in the media week this week. I want to get your opinion on the 10-8 round. I want to get your opinion on the side choke, and it being stopped right at the bell, or not really stopped at the bell, but didn't get up after the bell, so it was pretty much stopped at the bell.
You're okay. I'll give you, for instance. You remember Jeremy Horn fought Chuck Liddell back in the early days of the UFC, and Jeremy Horn gets him in a choke, and Chuck was actually on top of Jeremy, and his head's down, and I'm like, and I hear the sound. I'm like, okay, just gonna let it go, and if he's out, fight's over. And it's exactly, it happened the same way. So it's happened multiple times in the UFC, and it's happened in big fights and stuff. It's just it's the easiest, cleanest way for the official, the referee, to have it happen. Look at Merab when Merab fought Ricky Simone. He actually got knocked out. Okay, if you go back and watch it,
that was painful to watch, John.
Oh, dude, it was bad. He does a takedown, he knocks himself out. And you watch Ricky, the best people. Look at the reverse. He's reversing a dead body right now because Merab's out. Then he puts him, and Merab wakes up due to the pressure of the choke, and then he tries to fight his way through it. And at the very end, he's out, and it happens.
I felt like he was out. He was in and out 3 or 4 times.
He was, absolutely was.
Brutal.
Yeah,
brutal. Someone, Lazy Bear, brought this up. Lazy Bear MMA. Thoughts on Caitlin Vieira missing weight by 7 pounds?
Just absolutely. Yeah, you look and you go, and you wonder why the UFC said, we're gonna let you go. You can't do these things. That's not professional. Your job, Josh, we've talked about my whole thing that I tell fighters is, hey, you got three requirements. That's the only thing I'll tell you. The first one is be on time. When you're supposed to be somewhere, because there's other fighters that are waiting, having to put up with, being hungry, being dehydrated, all those things. Don't be the person that is holding things up and making them have to wait for you. Yeah. They will remember, and everyone else will too. Don't do that. Second thing is, you signed a contract to make weight. That is on you. If you can't make that weight, then tell people beforehand, hey, I'm not going to make that weight. So the other fighter can make a decision. Do I want to fight at a catch weight? Now, this is a championship fight, so it's not going to happen, but, don't be that person that doesn't make weight. And the last thing is, fight hard. I'm not even telling you have to train. You don't, okay? If you burn out after a minute and a half and you get your butt kicked, oh well. But fight hard. The fans deserve the very best you can put out when you step in there.
Is she forgetting that there's only two promotions that carry female fights? Like, what are you doing?
And I mean, man, I'll
And
tell you,
if I'm the PFL, I'm like,
and
I
weight
don't
classes
need
are
you.
being dropped.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. If I'm the UFC or not the UFC, if I'm PFL, I'm like, I don't need your headaches.
No.
See ya. And
Not at
the
all.
other thing is, you fought a 40-year-old, 40 or 41,
Yeah.
and sure, she's to me, I think probably the GOAT of females MMA. There's a lot of other females that definitely are there, but she's in that 1-2 position. I put her at 1 because she's been doing it for so long and she's been through just all the levels.
She's
of
won in every
female.
promotion that she was at.
Exactly.
She's got, she's
Yeah.
at least up there.
Yes. And this was the first time when I was watching her fight, I'm like, you look your age. Yeah. She looked a little slow. She was winging it, missing shots, spinning herself around. Either she just had no respect for Ketlen Vieira, or she just let herself get sloppy in this fight. It was not a fight. I'm like, this was not a good. You didn't show your skill, a good representation of your skill level. It might be time to hang it up.
She
can keep doing it. She can keep doing it, John. But why?
It's one of those. Father time is not friendly to anybody. And it doesn't happen in this major fashion of all of a sudden, oh, you can't throw a punch, or oh, you know what, you're just, you look so slow. You are slower, and that timing that used to be so sharp and get you in and out of problems and avoid contact. Now you're not avoiding the contact; it's hitting you. And so now, instead of just being that smooth, transition from one thing to the next, now you're getting interrupted by the shot hitting you, and now you've got to reset, and you're coming. It just changes everything, for you as a fighter. And Cris has had a remarkable career, remarkable. And you look and you go, she's been outstanding. You can always, and people are going to bring up the one goddamn thing that happened with, yes, she didn't pass a test in California. That did happen. And, from that point, she got tested by everybody and she's always passed. So hopefully she learned her lesson. But from that point, she's been exemplary as far as the way she treats people, the way she goes about being a professional as a fighter, the way she competes. You can't ask for anything more.
Yeah. Does Clarissa Shields ever fight her?
God, no.
I just noticed that she took a fight against a little bit tougher of a fighter for $1.5 million less. They offered her $2 million to fight Cyborg, and she turned it down.
Yeah. And it really comes down to, if there was a time that Clarissa was going to fight Cris, it would be now. After watching her fight against Ketlen Vieira and the way she looked and the way she was throwing punches and just looking slower, this is your time. Because this is the Floyd Mayweather. Floyd, if there was one thing about Floyd that he was a great fighter, but he was very smart about when he would fight somebody. And, he would hold off on, when Manny Pacquiao was fucking lighting everybody up, Floyd avoided him. And finally, when it got to the point of, oh, I see that you're slowing down. I see you're not quite the same. Now I'll fight you. When he sees Canelo coming up and everyone's talking about Canelo, he says, I'll fight him, because he wants to fight him now before Canelo.
I think he was only 20 years old at the
21.
Time. Yeah.
He was 21. And you look and you go, he's smart. Clarissa does the same thing. She looks and goes, is this a good time for me? Oh, I don't think it is. I'm going to avoid that. So if there ever was a time, this is the one. But she does not want to go against someone that has a chance of possibly beating her.
Paul Hughes has been running around. I think he did Ariel's show, did some other shows, talking about how the drug testing in the PFL is kind of pathetic. And guys have been getting busted lately, I think, because there's been more pressure on them to pop these guys. And
as far as I know with the PFL, they have been utilizing the Mohegan Sun Tribal Commission for their testing. So now the real question is this, because people go, oh, see, it's not that the Mohegan Sun's doing anything wrong, but they can only do the things that the PFL ends up paying for.
Ah,
So they can sit there and say, hey, we're going to fly someone, and they go, oh, no. Well, then that person can't fight. And then the PFL will find someone else that can. And so, a lot of it comes down to it's money. And look, the PFL is struggling. That's why they did the merger with, MVP. And hopefully that makes a difference. And it really is. There comes that point where, fighters have to understand, you want to do something and be clean in this sport. That's awesome. I love that. You might have to take some money out of your own pocket to make it happen. Because if you sit there and say, I'll tell you what, I'm going to test, and I want you to test too. And here's where we're going to do it. I'll sign this contract and I'm going to pay for it. And then look, you're talking, it's not cheap. That testing cost, but you can get it done, and you can get it done at a fairly reasonable, if you get someone that you're going to compete with that's going to do it with you, it can be done, so what you got to do is start being Paul Hughes and stepping up and saying, no, hey, I don't want to compete with people that cheat. I don't cheat. And so I'm willing to prove it. I'm willing to pay for my own, and every opponent that I'm going to face, I challenge you to do the same. I will pay for my testing. You pay for your testing, and we'll both go in as clean athletes.
I agree. Hey guys, the Darren Till interview is dropped. It was dropped a couple days ago. Check that interview out. It's a great interview. He's fun. It's only like 15, 20 minutes long. That being said, tomorrow night, JMO and I, we're doing JMO and I during the day now because the Dana White Contender Series got moved up an hour earlier. And so with kids practices and stuff, during the Dana White Contender Series, we're going to try and do it at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Wait, Central time. So 2 p.m. Eastern time. Sorry, I'm giving you all these.
It's all good
times. You guys are all at 2 p.m. Eastern time is when we'll do the live show tomorrow during the day. And that'll be JMO and I during the day. And then I'm working with, like I said, I'm trying to get the Umar interview up for you guys before he fights. And man, we're going to have some fun with this. So we're building. We're still getting better. By the way, thank you all. We broke 127,000 subscribers. We finally got there. Finally got there. So it's been great, man. So we got to 127,000. We're almost at 127,100. So hopefully we can keep building on that and keep moving. So, hey guys, thank you guys so much for tonight. I'm going to leave you guys with this. Saturday mornings used to mean coffee and sidelines. Now it's game time for all of us. We're running drills, chasing goals, and trying to keep up with each other. Soccer, lacrosse, doesn't matter. What matters is we're doing it together. But here's the thing I didn't expect. Training with your kids, it hits different. You sweat more, you push harder. If you're not careful, you could burn yourself out. That's why I started bringing Element. No sugar, no junk, just electrolytes. Sodium, potassium, magnesium. So you can stay sharp, stay moving, and stay in the game. Because when your kids look over and say, come on, Dad, keep up, you don't want to sit this one out. You want to be right there with them. Hydration isn't just about performance. It's about showing up. For them, for yourself, for moments like this. Element.
Stay salty.